good morning. Welcome. This is our online plant-based cooking class. My name is Melissa. I'm HealthAware's registered dietitian and personal trainer. I'm so glad to be here with you today. We do this class every fourth Wednesday of the month. That's what today is. We have two great recipes today. This is the end, but we're still in our American Heart Month. So today's recipes are heart healthy focused recipes. Now, anything really within the plant-based realm that we make in this class is heart healthy in general, but today just a little bit more focused on some of those foods that are really heart healthy for us. So as I said, we've got two recipes today, and right now I am going to put the recipes into the comment section of this video so that you can follow along with me today. If you would like the recipes in a PDF printable format, please let me know and I'm happy to email those to you. Okay, there's one recipe and there's two. Okay, great. Now I can get this out of the way and we will get started. We are beginning today. Oh, also, please let me know if you have any questions or any comments during this class, whether you're watching live or the recorded version later on. I'm happy to answer any questions. Love when you comment on the videos and interact. It makes it much more fun. All right, we are starting with our heart healthy vegan quinoa salad. Excuse me. I got a whiff of the onions and it really went to my throat. All right, heart healthy vegan quinoa salad is what we're starting with. A lot of heart healthy ingredients we're working with today. As I said, we're gonna get right to it. So the first thing that you'll need for this recipe, of course, is quinoa. And there are instructions to prepare the quinoa. I've already gone ahead and done that because it would have taken another 20 or 25 minutes. So this is the quinoa that I used. This is tricolor quinoa. It doesn't matter which kind of quinoa you use, really. I just tend to use tricolor sometimes because it's pretty. It has the different colors of quinoa, not just the white kind or the red kind. So this is typically what I use, what I'm using today. And then you will want to, you'd use a cup, 1 full cup of the dry quinoa, and then you want to add it into a fine mesh colander and rinse it. So just under the faucet, rinsing it out a little bit with water, and then transfer it to your pot with 2 cups of water, and you'll bring that to a boil. Once it's at a boil, reduce to a low simmer with the lid on, and just let it simmer. Set a timer for 15 minutes. When the 15 minutes are up, turn off the heat and let it sit there for another 5 minutes to fully absorb any of the liquid, and it'll fluff up a little bit. And then after that 5 minutes of resting, then you can remove the lid at that point, and you can fluff it with a spoon a little bit and just let it cool, because we want to get the rest of our ingredients going, and we want the quinoa to be cooled a bit, at least to room temperature, before we add it in with the rest of our ingredients. Okay, I've already gone ahead and done that step for us this morning, so you don't have to watch me do it. Let me get the colander out of the way. Okay, so we've got our quinoa. We're gonna let it sit there for a moment. I can show you what it looks like cooked. I don't know if you can see that very well, but this is what it looks like, the tricolor. Okay, and again, you can use any color that you like. They do have slightly different textures and tastes, so that's kind of why I like using the tricolor. It gives a little bit of all of it. Let's do the rest of our ingredients. So into this bowl, I've got a large serving bowl, mixing bowl, whatever you like to use. We're gonna add basically everything else in, but garbanzo beans are what we're starting with. Make sure that you find a low sodium version, so 140 milligrams of sodium or less. That's what's going to keep this a little bit more heart healthy as far as the beans go, is a lower sodium version. We are adding salt later in the recipe anyway, so you don't need a lot of sodium in the garbanzos. Additionally, I did not salt the quinoa. It is only quinoa and water, okay? We add our salt later. So we've got garbanzos, and we're gonna go ahead and add those on in. You do need to rinse them So I usually you can put them in your mesh colander, that would actually probably be the easiest. Rinse them again under the running faucet, drain off that water, and then they're ready, and then they're ready to go. So into the bowl they go. And then I've gone ahead and prepared all of our other ingredients for this salad. We've got cucumber, red bell pepper, purple onion, and then fresh parsley. So I've got all of those veggies here, okay? And you don't have to be super specific with the measurements. So you'll notice that I say 1 medium cucumber, and that's about the equivalent of 1 1/4 cup. It doesn't have to be exact. 1 cucumber, I use English cucumbers, so they have smaller seeds, less seeds, and you do want to remove the seeds. So when you cut it in half and then in quarters, and then I cut out the seeds in the middle, so you're just left with the harder outer part. That's gonna be better for this salad rather than all the slimy, if you will, the seed part, okay? Just more of the harder meat part of those cucumbers. So we've got cucumbers, bell peppers, and the purple onion. I do cut them relatively small. I don't know if you can even see that size, but quite small. So I kind of aim for the size of the garbanzo beans. That gives you kind of a guide. Everything's sort of that similar size, makes it nicer when you are eating it. So all 3 of those are gonna go right on in to the bowl. Okay, and again, it doesn't matter if it's exactly the measurements on there. 1 pepper, 1 cucumber, 1 onion. Okay. And then we've also got our parsley. This is fresh parsley. It is curly parsley. You could use flat leaf or curly. Curly is just what I was able to find in the store. And it is about 1 bunch that you'd usually find sold at a store like Trader Joe's. 1 bunch of their parsley is about 1 cup if you use mostly just the curly part, not a bunch of the stems. So rinse it off before you use it. Rinse it, dry it, and then cut it up as fine as you can. It's all right if there are some pieces. It does kind of get marinated down with the dressing part. So 1 cup of that, not super packed tight, a little bit more loose, but a full cup. Okay, all that in there, and then we are gonna set that aside while we make our dressing. So for the dressing, which I forgot to get a bowl for. Hang on. Okay. While we make our dressing, that's gonna hang out over there. So for the dressing, into it goes 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Yes, this is oil, this is fat. However, extra virgin olive oil is the heart healthy oil that is best for our heart health. So extra virgin olive oil, not just regular olive oil, you do want it to be extra virgin olive oil. This one's organic as well from Trader Joe's. That's the one I typically buy. Okay, set that aside for later. So we've got 1/4 cup into our little bowl, and we also are doing 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice. I've already gone ahead and squeezed the lemons because it's messy and I don't want to do that while we're filming. And I've got 1 seed that I'm trying not to let fall in. All right, there's our lemon juice. Great. And then we're doing 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. This is again Trader Joe's version of apple cider vinegar. Shake it up a little bit. It tends to get sediment that settles at the bottom, so make sure you do shake it before you use it. 1 tablespoon is what we're doing of the apple cider vinegar. And this is a 1/2 tablespoon measure, so put 2 in there. Okay, and then finally we're doing just our salt. Whatever kind of salt you like, whether it's the pink salt or sea salt or plain old table salt. I've just got table salt for us today. So we're doing a 1/2 teaspoon of the salt into the dressing mixture. And then we're gonna give it a just gentle whisk. Get everything combined. I'm just whisking with a fork. Whatever you have is fine. And I'm actually gonna use this fork later, so I'll put that over there. All right, we've got a dressing, we've got all of our veggie ingredients, and we've got our quinoa. So we're gonna add everything into our veggies, all the veggies, and now the quinoa is going in. It is cooled at this point, so we're adding it in. It should not be like liquidy or really, really soggy. It should have absorbed all of those 2 cups of water, okay? All of that going in. And then we're gonna add our dressing on top. Drizzle that guy on. The salt tends to settle at the bottom for me with this, so do make sure that you kind of spoon a little bit of it out. Make sure to get all of it in. Okay, and we're just gonna give this a bit of a gentle stir. So you wanna get all of the dressing incorporated, and you wanna combine the quinoa with the other ingredients, so everything is, exploded out of the side of the bowl. So everything is fully mixed, so you don't have one section of just onion, right? And that is really the entire recipe. It is super simple. It's somewhat like a, whoops, that one on the floor, excuse me. We'll just get that up. So it is somewhat along the lines of like a Mediterranean type of flavor profile, which I find very fresh, refreshing and nice. So this is what our salad looks like. And I'm gonna portion some out so you can see it. You will notice that the nutrition analysis, the nutrition info, it is per 1 cup of a serving for the nutrition information. So if you are trying to really be conscious of calories or whatnot, you will want to, of course, measure this out. And I'll bring it a little bit closer. And there we go. So this is what the picture was in the reminder this morning on our Facebook page. So that's what it is. My husband approved of this one, by the way. I had him taste test for me. Okay, that was that recipe. Oh, Lori said something. Looks yummy. Yay, great. All right, one recipe done. Now we're gonna move on to our second recipe. They're both in the salad realm. Set that off to the side. Get this out of our way. And I'm a little paranoid that I have some oil on the floor, so just give me a second. I don't want to slip. Okay. Let's get to our second recipe. Ooh, Laura said something else. Oh, the picture. Ah, yes. I thought that the picture, I took a picture of the practice round that I did with this recipe. I thought it might be fun that you could actually see the actual recipe we're making today. So this is the second recipe. I didn't post a picture of this one. I wanted to, but then I forgot to take a picture. So, okay. Our next recipe is heart-healthy vegan spinach feta salad. All right. We're gonna start off by making our tofu feta first. So, oops, I've got some tofu, a block of tofu. You'll notice in the directions that you do wanna give a little time to press the tofu, okay? To press the tofu and to let it marinate. Some people, when they're making tofu feta, will press their tofu in between heavy objects for like 30 to 60 minutes. I typically don't. I'm not that patient. I don't usually do that. I usually will. This is about I think it's about 8 ounces of tofu, okay? So if you buy a Trader Joe's brand, this is the sprouted tofu that comes in the double pack in the refrigerated section. So I'm using just one side of that double pack. If you're buying a block of tofu, just one solid block, it's gonna be about half of one of those, okay? To press my tofu, I get some paper towels, dry paper towels, wrap the tofu and squeeze just with my hands, trying to squeeze out some of the water. We're going to crumble the tofu into the bowl, so it's okay if the block breaks up a little bit while you're squeezing it. So this is our tofu, and I'm gonna add it right on in to our bowl bowl that we'll be mixing. My hands are really tofu sticky, hang on. Sticky tofu hands. All right, into the bowl it goes. 8 ounces of tofu, pressed already, squeezed out some moisture, and then you're going to get a fork and mash it up a little bit into sort of, you'll see in the direction, sort of feta-sized chunks. So you don't want it completely mashed into oblivion, but don't leave any gigantic chunks. So thinking feta cheese, since that is what we are making. And mine has dried out very nicely already. I started squeezing it maybe 30 minutes ago and left the paper towels wrapped around it. So it is looking good now. So there, this is, I saw one more chunk, there we go. This is about the size, if you can see, this is where I've got my tofu too. We've got that all mixed, and then we're gonna add our flavorings to it. So we're gonna add first a lemon juice, and I've already, again, squeezed our lemon juice. This is 2 tablespoons worth of lemon juice, and we're gonna just add that right on top. And then we're doing, I just realized we don't do the 1 tablespoon of water. I am so sorry. Cross that off of your ingredients. No water. So the 1 tablespoon of water, don't do that. Okay, moving on, skipping down to what is in it is the apple cider vinegar. So we're doing a 1/2 tablespoon. It's not the end of the world if you add the water in. I just don't find it necessary to have the extra moisture. So I skip over it, and we're doing 1/2 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar right on into the tofu as well. And then we're doing some garlic powder. If you don't like garlic powder or garlic, which I hate garlic, but you don't have to add it in. We're doing about a 1/4 teaspoon. You could do less. My husband liked it with a 1/4 teaspoon, so in it goes. And then our final ingredient will be our salt. And that will be a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Use this guy right here. 1/2 teaspoon of salt going in. Tofu itself, as you may know, is relatively bland. I actually like the taste of tofu plain, but most people do not. So adding some of the acids, like our vinegar and the lemon juice, as well as the seasonings, the garlic, and then salt, can be very important for making tofu have a little bit more pizzazz, I suppose we'll say. So if you've got time, then you should cover this and set it off to the side or put it in the fridge for an hour if you can. 30 to 60 minutes or overnight is fine as well, actually. Put it off to the side. We're not doing that today. We're just gonna pretend that we've let it marinate, okay? So we're gonna set that off to the side for now and then pretend that it's marinating for 30 to 60 minutes. We're gonna move on to make our dressing. So in another little bowl, we're going to add, this time, yes, we are using our water. So 1/2 cup of water, nothing special, just plain old water goes in there. And then we're adding in 2 tablespoons of our apple cider vinegar. Again, it is a great ingredient. If you're not familiar with using apple cider vinegar, I highly suggest it. 2 tablespoons of this guy. There's 1 and 2. And then we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. This is a whole grain Dijon mustard. So it actually, it has like the mustard grains in it. It's not smooth like a lot of mustards are. So it'll look a little bit different than perhaps your typical Dijon mustard. This is what Trader Joe's had when I bought it a while back. And I just went with it. I didn't bother buying a different one because it works. It has the same flavoring. It just looks a little different. So your dressing that we're making today, mine is going to look a little bit more like chunky, not chunky, but particles. It's gonna have particles that you can see. If you are buying a regular standard Dijon mustard, it will be smooth type of a dressing, okay? With more of a yellow color to it than this one will be. All right, next we're adding maple syrup, just a little bit of sweetener, 2 tablespoons, to really brighten up the dressing, because we're really using a lot of acid in it with the mustard and the lemon juice. We didn't use lemon juice in this one, but the mustard and the vinegar. So having a little sweetness can really help cut through that and give it a richer taste. And then finally, we're using just 2 tablespoons of the same, the extra virgin olive oil. Just a little bit. We don't want it to be a super heavy dressing. Trying to keep it a little bit more on the heart healthy side, not super high fat, not super high calorie. And the fat that we are using is our extra virgin olive oil, better for our hearts. And then we are just gonna add a little pinch of salt, not a huge amount, okay? Just a tiny sprinkling. It does help just a little. That was good enough. Just a little, again, to cut through some of the acid. Salt can help with that. Once all the ingredients are in the bowl, just give it a nice whisk with your fork, or an actual whisk if you've got one nearby. Just using a fork for this guy. Okay. And then, once your tofu is marinated for its 30 to 60 minutes and you've got your dressing made, make sure you have all of your other ingredients ready to go. And we're gonna assemble our salad together right now. You'll notice in the notes that you can make this as a large salad like we did with this one if you want, or you can have it portioned out into 8 individual salads. So that's how I have the recipe written, is 8 individual salads. And the nutrition analysis goes along with just one of those 8 salads. But again, if you really want to do just one large bowl, you're gonna have people eating it all at one time, that's fine too. I wouldn't necessarily suggest making a large bowl and then keeping it in the fridge for an extended period of time, because some of the fruit, the walnuts, the spinach, it'll all get a little bit droopy. So we're making our individual salad, and 2 cups of spinach, or you can use other greens. My husband prefers it with other types of like mixed green salad, and that's fine. Spinach is great too. Spinach is nice and heart healthy. So we're using it today. Not that other greens are not heart healthy, but spinach is just extra. So I'm not specifically measuring the spinach right now. I just want to make sure I get enough in the bowl for you to see. But about 2 cups is what we would do per salad. Spinach is extremely low in calories, so if you're trying to be careful with your calorie count, don't worry about how much spinach you're putting into it, okay? Just enough to make it nice and pretty. And then we're going to add in our blueberries. I've got all this stuff prepared for us. So we've got a 1/4 cup of blueberries, fresh blueberries, nothing fancy about those. Just sprinkle those on top. And then we're doing 2 tablespoons of chopped walnuts. I've got this recipe all portioned out for the nutrition analysis, okay? So here's 1 tablespoon of the walnuts, and then there's 2. These walnuts are raw, unsalted walnuts. You'll notice, I think I said in the notes, oh maybe I didn't, but you definitely want to keep the nuts unsalted. I did say that in the notes. Unsalted for sure, because we want to try and keep the sodium level down if our goal is to be doing a heart healthy recipe. Toasted is fine. You can purchase toasted that are unsalted, and you can also just dry toast them yourself. So in a hot skillet, add raw walnuts in and just stir them around, getting them toasted on the warm skillet for a few minutes, and that'll be good too. So moving on, spinach, blueberries, and our walnuts. And then we have got some sliced apples. I already sliced them nicely for us. So this is about 1/8 of an apple. Okay, so each portion will get 1/8 of an apple of the thinly sliced. And we're gonna make it pretty, so we're gonna put it up there. And then moving on to the ingredients that we made, our marinated tofu feta. So we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of this guy, not packed, loose 3 tablespoons, okay? the bowl. There's 1 and 2 and 3. Great. And then our dressing is the final component, and we are going to add in, I think it's 2 tablespoons of this. I'm gonna give it 1 final stir, get all those ingredients mixed around together again. Because it does have oil and water, it does want to separate, so you just gotta make sure that you do stir it before you use. Okay, it is on the thinner side of dressing, okay? And 2 tablespoons. Okay, and then here is our final product. Bring it closer for you to see. There is our salad: apples, blueberries, walnuts, tofu, feta, and dressing over the spinach. So our 2 recipes today, both heart healthy, both full of plant-based goodness. Where are we? There we go. Lots of veggies, lots of fiber, lots of nutrients, all kinds of heart healthy stuff. Let me know if you try either of these recipes. I'd love to see pictures. Feel free to post pictures on this video or on our Facebook page, or just email them to me. I'd love to see. Let me know also if you'd like PDF printable recipes that we did today. I'm happy to email those to you as well. That's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed. Go try out these heart healthy recipes. Thank you to everyone joining. I think I see, my goodness, I see on here Billy and Lori. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. I will see you right back here next month for another plant-based cooking class. I am planning to do some St. Patrick's Day themed recipes, so a lot of green stuff is what will be in the future. And Billy, I see that you want the recipes, so I'll email those to you today, okay? Thank you, everyone. I will see you next time.